4089. I guess 1300 something damage difference between both these top two players among the all 64 players.
The game altogether itself. So just a GG play being showcased.
See how many knocks was able players were able to. But with that being said, let's move on to the schedule for the day. And I guess a lot of wrangle will be played for today. That means a lot of fun for the viewers too.
Absolutely, mate. With that, I mean, as you were so perfectly mentioning, we were looking at only that one final Miramar map, and now that that is done, we've got two Wrangles, two Sandhawks that are going to be in queue. But along with that, the game is going to be live. The fight path coming onto our screens, where we start off all the way down south from the military base, taking it all the way up to the northern regions of Severny. So definitely going to be dissecting the map in two equal halves and looking pretty comfortable for so many of these teams to be able to go down to their known drop locations.
Oh, definitely. And every time this OG map comes in, I'm so elated looking at the way team makes a move, the aggression, the rotation, because this is a map that every competitive player, every team loves to play, be any area of it. But then we'll get to see certain team jumping onto the extreme side. This time, I guess Zerki is pretty much far away for 52x rate, so maybe they need to take some different drop this time itself. But with that being said, no Ripnoy, I guess that might be just occupied in few seconds, few minutes by certain team, with NB jumping towards the area of military base, R3G going towards the area of Milta. Three styles have made a comeback because this time Group E is also playing.
Absolutely. With Group E chiming in along, we are going to be looking at three styles. And in terms of the play style that they've been able to dominate in this PMPL qualifiers from Pakistan region, Three style is looking pretty comfortable. I mean, there's nothing taken away from their gameplay or their play style altogether. But when it comes down to the zone, well, what do you know? The first wrangle of the day, and you get a default zone. Okay, now I'm sure PUBG gods are going to be definitely bringing in a little bit of a hiccup as the zone
Uh-huh.
starts constricting and making a little bit of a shift. But yeah, this is a very default zone for the final day.
Oh, definitely the classic circle that we see.
Exactly.
Uh, 25 to 30% of the military base into island, giving fair share to each and every team to be a part of this match, right, brother?
True, definitely true, mate. On the other front, as you were so perfectly mentioning from the side of 52 Exchange, it seems like they were not allowed to go down towards Zerki, but they have decided to still stick their own known game and philosophy, which is going to be far away from any other team that would want to go down. And that is where we see 52 Exchange with a two-man split working their way onwards towards the northeastern front of this map as of now. On the other side, when it comes down to the south, we do, of course, have Envy, as you so perfectly mentioned earlier as well, that is a team that finds themselves on the military base, but in close proximity on No Reply is going to be the side of Hellraisers. And wow, oh wow, we've got the first blood being showcased right here with 3x's Miracle taking on a miraculous approach, and it is going to be him taking the first blood. Sadly, not the case for the side of Doc, but overall, well, as long as it works. What? What a destructive play that was.
Oh
So
my
perfectly mentioned by you,
God.
dude. This was, I mean, nobody could have anticipated.
Position, but there we have it. There is someone watching all these fight far away from that Giorgio Hill that we like to call it. It's Edgar from the sides of TUF.
Well. TUF said good. Definitely keeping a keen eye and, of course, ears towards the side of Georgia Pole region, where indeed he did hear all those shots and the commotion that was taking place, thanks to, of course, HR walking away with the 4 elimination points. But they better not be too elated about it, because if they're not careful, Team TUF, well, they've got the information and they can very well retaliate against that. On the other front, when it comes down to the side of HR, as you perfectly mentioned, Banker, we are looking at that team racking away a lot of points, but will it be a bit too late? I mean, they definitely have been able to accumulate 4 elimination points as of now against Ivy, so Ivy seems pretty much like done and dusted conversation for them. But
Oh yes, definitely. Let's
is it
just say it.
the same for
Let's just
HR?
let's
Yeah.
just say it. No, I guess it's done and dusted for Ivy, but HR are still pretty much in contestation with them sitting at 18th position before this match started, and the difference between them and the team that was on the 17th position, I guess that was of Grounders, the difference
Yep.
has now been reduced to 10 or 12 points. If they get a big game, they have the sure shot, and that means certain teams on 17th and 16th position, they are now under that crosshair, now under that radar of getting eliminated. But I'm liking the way Hellraiser is actually approaching even in this fight.
True that. Definitely true that. I mean, they're playing like they've got nothing to lose, and that is exactly the kind of approach that they need to take if they want to be able to qualify for the PMPL season. And in that, they need to get those points any single way that they possibly can. That was a really good fight that they took against Ivy, and that in result has brought us down to 15 teams remaining. Meter Shot right now finding themselves in the blues in the Nova Rupnoy region are going to be making a late rotation, but they definitely are making a rotation because we can see them in the vehicle icon basically, and it seems like they are going to be choosing the Ferry Pier military bridge rather than choosing the Nova Rupnoy bridge altogether. So maybe this is where we could very well see them go up against Envy, or maybe not. For now, it's going to be an either case for them. On the other front, as we move on through towards Primorsk, that is where the Grounders find themselves. Now, the Grounders, as so perfectly mentioned, Banket, once again, is a team that is kind of in a bit of a tricky situation, as it were, as it is, because the position that they sit on is not so comfortable, not so concrete. So if they're not able to get the points in this game and the final game, then that position that they're on the 17th in the overall ranking could very well be taken away from them.
Definitely, but they are making a safer, wiser rotation from the western side. I want this circle to move up north, right where TMW are positioned in the shooting range, and that will pretty much spicing things up. But we just got the central shift. We still don't have any hard shift, so it's a call for the IGL that they do want to stay on the northern side, that is the shooting range island, or maybe the areas around ruins. So if anyone stays around the area of ruins, or maybe the watchtower that is pretty much close towards the Giorgio Pull bridge, that's where I can see a lot of team jumping up into the fight. But as you perfectly
made it work into the smoke, they stay and they will hide and they will pray, as we say, just like every single one of these other teams. NDL, they have now gone into the water, opting for the different strategy. They are just trying to survive. 5 different teams inside the water right now, but only 3 inside of that land. And you've got to think that for those on that land, this is where they really can start taking those free reign onto those kills, including their also conquerors. And I do believe their yes triple will be those final squads in on to the beach.
You know, it's just crazy. 8 teams, 9 alive. What the hell is that, man? And imagine the circle continuing going to the northern side. I don't know what to expect of this. Like, I haven't seen any game like this before. This is just crazy. Albert's been swimming for the past 5 phases, I believe. He's been swimming in the middle of the map, now on the most northern side of the map. 5 teams swimming right there, but they now have to get back. This may be farming time for Euphoria, for the side of NDL, but this will be the numbers advantage from Triple as well. The patience there, now they can come in and try to control every part.
He can't even stand up though, because look at the rest. It's actually TSC Albi from the opposite end, just enough here to survive, and does take them down. They step up inside what was that vehicle, and we mentioned that strategy before, playing so well for them. Hitman will now be struck again. Hitman down to half HP will be executed, but this time by Abstract. It will be Conqueror falling down in 6, already down to the final 5 is Abstract. For the rest of Triple, they've got still 2 players up, and actually for Triple, this could be their game.
You know what? Like the patience coming through. They say we will wait. We will use our position. If they're in the water, we'll find a way to kill them, right? But I'll be just making that call there. The strength of preserving that vehicle to be sit in, that's just crazy. Most ones out, and we're down to 14. 5 players only, though.
5 players. That is all we have left. But for the rest of Triple, this zone absolutely given to them. Tarzan and Albert. Albie here, also strangers still trying to survive. Yes, it has been beautiful. I think that the most influential impact that this water has been through from Albert, right? The amount of placement points they can pick up as they now survive another squad. Strangers going down into the top 3, but can they take a second position? I think TSC, they do have that vehicle, so they could then strike down onto Albert as they try to approach. You do just that. They will be caught out. The spray comes through. Unfortunately, Albert, 3rd place is all they'll get. TSC, they will take down 2nd. But this is all Triple's game, and it will be that complete first through. Playzone takes them in a chicken dinner to Triple Esports.
Man, I don't know how to feel about that. It's just so chaotic in the way, and those teams made a huge bet to go for those water plays, and it just worked out. I cannot believe that's actually the case. And Excuse Me went to 2nd place. No, actually 3rd place from that play. It's just crazy. He's down to a solo, I think, 10 minutes into the game, and that's just insane. The way to survive that and found the time to take that really bold bet somehow worked out for them. That we've got everything today so far as a crazy way to start the day.
What an absolutely insane game 1 here, but it's only the first match. We've still got 4 more to go here. Tarzan, it is right after this break. Do not leave us because it's only heating up. Hey everyone, my name is Han Wolf here. We're joined with what will be TRG Direction Nexus from the PMNC UK scene. How are you doing, Nexus?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Let's just start off with, I think, the first one here. Excuse Me now. Excuse Me versus Cookery. Cookery actually didn't do so hot when it came over to the tournament, but they were up against fair talent, right? Costy, Prada also coming through from Gaijin. And now let's take a look here. I think on Albert over Cookery. Of Excuse Me to find out also even more on the offside. There's a beautiful double through from Albert. That's a disaster of an engage through from Cookery. And as a result, Cookery, they will surely fall down. Only Hell will be remaining as a solo player in a... You gotta really feel, I think, for Cookery, because this was Span, albeit really their last chance.
So, to be honest, look Albert positioning. He's in the top, and he can see everyone from Kukuri. And what they're doing, I don't know. Like, he picking one guy, and another guy is running around the left side. Obviously, he can trade him when he knocked the other guy. But Albert played well, I can say that. Like, the gameplay he showed, that exceptional 1v2 with Kukuri. Yeah, that's what I can say.
Hey everyone, my name is Hannah Wolf. We're now joined by the beautiful Triple D Esports Reznov. Reznov is a beautiful performance from you in PMNC UK, but how are you doing more importantly today?
I'm good, thanks, not too bad, thanks. Yeah.
And I just want to also give you a little bit of a test here now. It's not just a wee little bit of a chat, but I also want to get your opinion on some of the replays here from the PMNC UK group stage. And we're going to start off, I think, with the first one, going to be Risk taking down Team Savage. I just want you to kind of break us down what's happening in a team fight right now.
I like the way this match evolved. I mean, even the beautiful air maneuvers we had coming in, looking to close off the fight. There we go. Oh, the strangers, bringing in the strangers' ways.
Hey, what's happening here? Oh my goodness.
Okay, that was very risky. I guess lucky that it paid off. I personally wouldn't have been flying in like that, but it was a nice move and very good spectacle at least.
We are joined now by Cyrax Cable. Cable, how are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm good, Highland Wolf. How about you today?
Yeah, good. It's gonna be a beautiful day here in the UK, and heading now into the finals. I want to also just have a little bit of a chat back to the group stage clips and a little bit of what went down. You talked about, yes, your team, but also some of the rest here, and we're gonna have a little look at what Courage, or formerly Courage, now Triple D Esport, really took to the stage with. And you not really face against Courage here as we jump into this first clip, taking them down what will be XT Xena Tactic in on Miramar.
Yep.
To see Courage sitting at the top of that leaderboard, leading with 140 points. And now we can see exactly why. They are just ruthless, moving in as a back, clearing it out. Zara goes right on down. It is now up to Faceless to hold on for the side here of the Xenotactic Esports team, but will they be able to make a slight dent even? As you can see, Courage, yes, the numbers have fallen down to 2.
Tell me a little bit about just what kind of happened in this clip.
So I would say the way they pushed is just like, yeah, they're a bit confident. I would say that's why they pushed, and it's a good thing to push like together with the team. But on the start, it's just too narrow to push like all together because you're gonna get sprayed. So I think they should have just like nade or mollied him and then pushed. So it would be better for them.
My name has been Alan Wolf, and you've been listening to myself. If you want to check out even more action of the PMNC UK final scene, it will be through on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday this weekend. Of course, check out not only there on PubG Mobile and the PubG Mobile Europe YouTube channel, but also all the action and the latest on social media on Instagram at PubG Mobile Europe official there as well.
Can you hear it coming? Can you feel your heart beating faster and faster? Can you smell a chicken dinner? This is the PubG Mobile National Championship. The adrenaline of competition, the suspense, the bravery, and the most explosive moments in mobile gaming. Excited? And we haven't even mentioned the prize pool, which is, hold on to your parachutes. £22,000! Now that's a chicken dinner.
What an insane finish right here for the first game of Day 2 of the PMNC UK Finals. Hope to have a lot more games just like that, but don't forget that the PMNC UK Finals is brought to you by Xiaomi, and thanks to them, we can enjoy a super fast and lag-free PUBG Mobile experience on Xiaomi's powerful Redmi Note 10 5G. But boys, water finish, right off the bat, gotta love it, even though it was not finish on the water, but what counts is an unofficial water finish right this time around. And Highland, and seeing you smile, so I'm gonna ask you that one. How are you feeling about water finish like that? That was a very original finish.
I love when we see those difficult zones. I mean, I was pretty classed back as quite a mean guy. I mean, Cassie, you can say, but this is my type of PUBG, and we get to see what was an absolutely standout performance as well, I think, from a lot of those teams in rotations and how we really saw them push to the max with that. I think that, excuse me though, they came out the best on those rotations. Yes, they were the first team to lose players, but actually, Max, they made probably the best rotation out of that in a whole of that game, because actually Albert securing themselves what could have been a 0-point game to at least grabbing their what was 10 placement points for the squad. And that type of consistency is what we're really looking for from a team to make sure they don't fall behind in those standings.
Yeah. Consistency is going to be the name of the game, but this big fight in the compound of Severny was a very interesting one. I would even say too many teams committed to it almost, Tarzan.
Yeah, I think it's always really tricky to play cities in this title circle. I think the hardest thing is to know how to really control a segment as well as keeping your vehicles, right? Like, because in this type of ending, you need your vehicles, and it's so hard to constantly assess and get prepared for the next one when there's so much information. So committing to a city is fine as long as you know the city and which edge of the city you want to control, and you need to know exactly why you want to do it based on strength and weaknesses from that spot, this info that you can get from that particular position. So that would be my response to that, and would take a lot of experience and testing and practice to make good out of those situations.
I thought Hannah was going to go for it. There you go.
No.
But that's the end game here. I mean, you got a lot to break down there. Go for it.
Oh, I mean, to be fair, that end game as well, rightly so. It was just the fact that Triple D Esports, so Max, they were able to take what was the land. I said, of course, whoever controls that land takes that game. And Triple D, you know, can I say that I was thinking about going for them again for the first game? I mean...
No takesies backsies. No takesies backsies.
Yeah,
that's not how it works.
unfortunately, TRG, we didn't quite live up to those expectations.
Same for the community, though. No takesies backsies. Cyrax also, as you know, tactics are going to be onto the lower side, and we're going to be now looking at our top three. Our boy of Tarzan International actually got himself a top 3 team right. That's an extra point for the desk. We said it's a team's game, so we're going to take that big fat W. But still, NDL only 1 positioning kill, 1 point and 12 kills. They popped off in terms of going aggressive, Tarzan.
You know what? I feel like the way that they played with deserved top 6 is that type of circle itself that provided actually a lot of chances, a lot of mercy, I should say, for those who went and committed for the submarine strat so early on. And that is why NDL's not been doing that. I think based on that landscape, like the
really seeing towards the end of the game, but actually they finished yesterday in the 6th position, and now they get another 10 points, so rising up even further on those stats. And excuse me, they're still very much in contention. I think even more so than other teams to take still that PMPL spot away. And don't forget that they still have PMPL talent in Kosti. Yes, they have Prada, but Kosti definitely going to be a very experienced member in the competitive scene.
Yeah, I mean, the thing too is if you make it to PMPL, it's not about being ready for PMPL now. You still got a few months, I think like a month or a month and a half potentially to train for that and get ready. But Jody, that was a player that we were seeing, especially on the big Eastern fight, Tarzan, and Jody just did so much heavy lifting. Of course, Euphoria being the MVP of yesterday, but Jody, especially this time, really shining through.
It's really kind of like a chess game. Like, his particular style is really, really lethal to those who are very hesitant, because he just goes quick, he goes bold, and sometimes he gets punished for that, as per our experience watching him from the PLPL Arabia under playing under Alpha Legends. But right now, it's working so well for them. It's like the pacing is just so much quicker compared to these other teams. They haven't even gotten the info through yet, and Jody's in there fragging.
I'm going to ask you, though, because this is the first time we're working together, Tarzan, on the same event. Don't use references to chess, just use checkers, because I'm not that smart. I don't understand all the moves, okay? So just checkers, and I can follow with what you're describing. Rockets, we're finally going to see him. It was a little bit more silent yesterday, Rockets. Let's not forget one of the big names coming into this. The only player, actually, I believe, that's got PMGC experience in this PMNC, so a lot of potential experience that can help out the rest of NDL. So Rockets is going to keep on going onto that streak. But Reznov, too, another big name that finally able to pull through a little bit more for triple this game around.
Oh man, I love that Reznov was able to really step up. Reznov obviously being one of those core fraggers for triple. Yes, I think they struggled again in yesterday's matches to really start off the tournament, but I love it. They found that reset and they found that mental break going in between day 1 to day 2. They've now been able to find what has been their feet on this first Durango match, and they're able, of course, to take it through with a chicken dinner. I think also to the extent that you mentioned Volkers being through from that PMGC talent, that's something that's really surprising coming through, especially for the group stage, to see such a name. But I think we're still expecting a little bit more from them, because NDL, we still have to keep in mind that yes, they are an aggressive team, but again, I still want to see them really step up in those placement points, because they're going to be going in the future against teams that are also similar to them, and they may be outclassed, and that's where the placement points really take into effect if they cannot get those kill points.
Yeah, pretty important to check out those placement points, but also we're going to be checking out the points of the community to see if they got themselves some on-point team picks. And they did have one, they did go for triple, they got himself a big fat win at the very end, so congratulations to the community. But thankfully, we are saved by none other than Professor Tarzan himself. We're going to call him Savior Tarzan right now, as he allows us to make and break even this time. So only 1 point. I went for the consistent team. They died relatively early, and he went for TRG directions, but didn't quite get himself a good late game opportunity. But still, that's a 1-1. And you know what that means, of course, if you guys get a team right, that means that we're going to get yourself a code. So we're going to have some good old juicy loot for you guys to get in game right now. The code is right down below my screen, and your screen too, potentially, not only mine, just yours. We're sharing over here. So feel free to enter that code in the game to get some good old looking skins for the PMNC edition and to look real fancy in the game itself. Not gonna lie, we need to get some more wins, because now it's 5-2. Okay, thanks to Tarzan, with 5-2, we need 3 wins. Community, if there are some trolls in chat, enter the wrong votes. Okay, just mess with people in chat, and hopefully we'll win. We'll see, because now we've got to try and enter some new votes. Do you maybe have some ideas, guys, of what you might go for? Don't spoil it just yet, but do you have an idea of where you're going for potentially, Tarzan?
Oh yeah, if you don't ban me away from certain options, yes I do. And I think I would just try to preemptively think for a few more, as if I need to predict all 3 of them, right? But yes, I do have some lovely ideas.
I mean, to be fair, Tarzan, if you could just like hint at some of that knowledgeable vibes that you give into me and Max, so we can just be able to also carry you a little bit. It feels like a little bit of a 1v5 game.
It's too smart. You know what? You know, if I give it to Max, can he really be so strong that he can curse it? You know, we talk about a caster curse, right? Yesterday he cursed ourselves, so the caster curse upon the casters as well. He's done something very interesting. So Maximilian, I don't know, but we can talk about that. We can have a very nice chat, and maybe we need to slowly catch up through today and tomorrow.
I've been casting for like 2.5 years, 3 years now, and this is the first time someone called me by my full name. I feel like I'm talking with my mum right now. I'm shocked a little bit, but you know what? Fair enough. I'll give it over to the community right now. Once again, it is time to vote for your top 3 potential teams right here. So once again, in the bottom side of your screen, bottom left of your screen, you can vote for the team of your choice. You want to go for Most Wanted, that is going to be hashtag MWX, and to go towards them. And talking about Most Wanted, actually, they could have had, I would say, relatively strong rotation. I don't know if anyone's going to go vote for them, but Tarzan, it's time for you. What team are you going for this time?
This time, I'm going for Triple. Triple Esports, and I'll tell you why. It's not just because they've won a game. They are coming into Miramar where they won a game yesterday, and they are a Pachinki team surrounded by certain teams who like to go around them but doesn't know how to make very proactive fights and skirmishes. So I think they will farm off that. They will capitalize off that, use the momentum from game 1 today, as well as they win from yesterday to win this one as well.
Okay, I think that's a pretty good one you're going towards. But yeah, Highland, how about yourself? I was going to say, what if you go for triple?
I wanted triple. You know what? I'm just going to take IND. I'm going to take IND away from the board, because I think that they also took through a very strong first game, and I think that they have seen some promising things through from in also the Desert Beast.
That's what I was going to say. We could have actually been on brand and all went for triple and be the triple.
We need to win, Max. We're losing.
But look, if triple gets in the top 3, that means it's 3 points.
True.
But if you pick them, they may not win, Max. And I think that's a problem right now. And you know what? We're going to have our choice.
Okay. I did not need that, okay? I was already having a great day. You made it just worse, okay? I hope you're happy about yourself.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna fix it. Okay, we've got time for this broadcast still for me to, fix it. I apologize, Max. You know what? You can have your pick, and I have faith in you. I know there's something
you.
inside you that makes you just so much better than we
Stop,
are
okay,
in so
too
many
much.
things. You know?
Too much.
Go for it.
Too much, man. You go
Go for it.
too far on that one. I actually wanted to go for maybe a team that has been, I would say, getting better and better. And Highland Wolf talked a little bit about their rotation, and Albert became a fish, so I have to go for the support there. I'm going to potentially go for Excuse Me. That's the team I'm going to be deciding to support this time around. We'll see, as the community have decided to go for TRG Directions, Conqueror, and Cyrax. Pretty big names, not going to lie. I think these are relatively safe choices to go towards. I'm not too surprised. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, we got ourselves a triple, so if triple wins, they get 0. We get ourselves a point, so I'll be great. But if triple does get himself a top 3, I'm going to be genuinely mad against you, Highland Wolf, because you've ruined what could have been a great shot call on my end. But you know what? It's fair enough. Yeah,
I mean,
we'll just
to
fire
be
you, I
fair,
guess.
to be fair, Max, I mean, your statistics are not really looking that good when it comes to teams.
Yeah, true. You know what? Fair enough. It's not looking too good on our end. It's not looking too good for me because I'm going to disappear. I'm going to get sent to the Nether Realm, and I'm going to tell you, boys, you're going to have to take it away for our second game here over on Miramar.
Oh man, and what a game it is going to be. Back onto my lovely desert dunes here, and what a match it is going to ramp up to really appear here to be here, Tarzan, on the second match. I love also that this playing path going to be more centralized. I just want to see a little bit more nicety, okay? I mean, yes, I'm a mean guy, and yes, I love to see what is absolutely disgusting zones, but I feel like we need to calm down in the second game. We saw a little bit too scary of a zone in that first game, and I just want to see some more relaxation in there.
You know what? This is so interesting because yesterday we've got a bit of a cluster fight around our pop. So 3 teams around there, then Xenotech got pushed away towards Monte Nuevo, and this time around no one wants to touch it. But the Fear Esports adaptation comes through still with good trailer park and ruins because of how bad it felt to be eliminated by NDL very early on in yesterday's game too. So this time around there's quite a lot of adaptation on the very western side of this map, but the central belt will be pretty much the same. I expect triple to go to Picardo. We have Excuse Me in San Martin, and Conqueror to go to Hacienda, and big split across Minas Gerais, La Bendita coming from Most Wanted, and 2 teams loving to go to the top right. There's no surprise there, and once again we will have some central belt control fight, right? That's a repeated theme as well because of just how central and strong that position is.
This zone is almost literally identical in first phase to the game that we had just yesterday, match number 4. I mean, it is literally a few centimeters off just towards, I think, the more eastern side. El Pozo, La Coberia, all towards that northern end, and a game we get to see where that party really is around Crater Fields. We get to see 2 squads already there. We don't get to see them just yet. Sons of Odin are on our screens, and Sons of Odin also, I just want to direct the conversation over to them and the fact that I still love their rotations. I just feel like there's something missing through from Sons of Odin that isn't quite there in the more aggressive side of their squad.
You know what, this is going to be challenging because they are so used to landing somewhere decent, grab some cars, loot the basic amount, just enough, and go for those quick rotations, right? But their drop slot is in Los Leones. So if they want to play that style, it's not going to be easy, especially thinking about coming back to the more center position like they love to, then they may need to approach Picardo, which will be held by Triple Esports in the earlier game. If they go all the way to Plateau, there'll be multiple teams. If they want to go along that main road that connects Chimicera and Los Leones, there might be a few teams going at the same time as well. So the pacing of Phase 1 is what I'm going to be very interested to look at for Sons of Odin in this game.
The pacing of Phase 1, I think you have to again look back to what was the rotations in game number 4. And while game number 4, it was actually a lot of rotations coming in towards the Picardo, the power grid side once more. I think that we could expect the same similar thing. I mean, for one, my favorite position is around Picardo Hills. We got to see it already. A zone close about there too yesterday in match number 2. But this time around, I just want to see what could be potentially a little more something of rotations from those more eastern teams. I think that TRG, we got to expect that, well, the community, yes, voted for them, but they also, with a very similar zone, got blown up by the rest of I&D on an anti-rotation through from them.
I think it's just going to be extremely tricky. It's a completely different circle, and especially when it comes to an adaptation that we've seen from some of these teams, particularly drawing away from El Paso, we'll have a very different phases 1 and 2, because there are so many strong spots surrounding El Paso that no one's really around there right now, and Team Oma haven't been the quickest team to rotate, so away from creative fields we will have the central belt actually open for people and teams to claim for a while. So it's about the scouting as well, so many open grounds that define these power positions, making it harder to come in without getting punished if you haven't thought about it well.
Picardo is one of those areas. And I just want to get your view on this here, Tarzan, as well. So you know how I've said that Picardo Hill is my favorite spot? What is actually your favorite spot? I feel like you've told me before, but my memory is slightly like a goldfish. I'm kind of swimming back in the same direction here. What is your favorite place?
My favorite place around that would be Power Grid. At the bottom of the P of power, there is a 360 compound with relative high ground. If you get to there first, you can really progressively rotate. You don't have to go into the main Power Grid, but it opens you up a very good path with short stops in between if you need to head north. And if you need to slowly come in closer to the Picardo Hill, then you have a lot of spaces and dips for you to scout and strike, right? So I love that position a lot, but you need to really study it and have very good splits and adjust it according to every phase, even if you're in it.
Oh man, do you know what you remind me of here as well is the Power Ranger skin that we kind of saw through PUBG EM just slightly earlier this year. I mean, that song is not going to leave my head now for the rest of this game, I guarantee you.
I don't even know what song that is. Maybe that's just
the theme tune. The theme tune of it. I can't sing it, but you know.
you know what I want to see is exactly what Sons of Odin's done. So we let that question, and the adaptation actually came through. What they did was not even touching Los Leones. They were happy enough to loot along those split compounds around the main road. They really, really value this phase 1 pacing, but what I find it tricky right now is for them to have a bit of an out of sync, unsynchronized rotation into such an important power position, right, around that Picardo Hill, and to have big splits into there is very punishable. So I hope that they will get those info, whoever split away will have that discipline to really pass that info around so that they found a piece of ground to control nicely.
Oh, look at that cluster, though. In on towards Monte Nuevo, onto this western side. I love it. We still get to see some fighting on those rotations through. We expected it could be the case. And I actually am surprised once again to see that I&D, they've already managed to rotate their way down. Yes, it didn't go super far up towards that northeastern end, but again, he still made a large amount of footwork in towards that position just on the edge of Picardo Hill. I feel like actually holding on to what could be a very intriguing position to stop a lot of those teams is, excuse me, Maxman, you mentioned them, potentially already going to be finding their first kill. OMA in a little bit of trouble as the Supreme, the first to fall.
You know what, it's going to be so tricky. The problem of going to these power positions so late is that you just can't get it at all, especially for such a strong spot. You have huge elevation, huge open ground 360. If Kosti and the rest of his squad knows when to strike and fight, they will get every single flush of those knocks, right? So that is going to be the very tricky thing here for these teams coming in late. So that will be them moving away, needing to find a different time, different way to enter. After all, it's still a huge amount of land that they can play off. Sons of Odin, we talked about them coming in here. I love the adaptation, but these really basic stuff from those comms and splits really have to come through.
Oh, isn't it surprising? Is Sons of Odin getting caught out of rotation early on, but by Conqueror here as well? I think Conqueror very much needed on these points. I think this is going to be one of those interesting middle teams fight where actually whoever comes out on top could just really kick the other in the face down into the dirt of that leaderboard. And Sons of Odin, that is not the time to lose your vehicle or put on the L plates, because they're going to need some support is there Crag running for the hills. Abby trying to deliver that support very much so, but a B-bag is not enough, and neither is the shot. Scouted now going to be the final one. Hitman entering up from the backside, and it just looks disastrous from a series of fatal mistakes from Sons of Odin.
Feel like the adaptation was there, but they need to know how to play this spot. And this is also great finish from Conquer UK. I mentioned it twice yesterday, guys. This is a Hacienda Dalpatron team. And they've been staying around, they're dangling around, almost idling would be the term, but they've changed it up. They enter this area early, and they use that advantage to start the first squad wave, and that was clean. That is what I love to see from this squad.
The adaptations granting him 4 clean kills. Sons of Odin beginning to draw something way better going in on to Sandhawk, because that was not just good enough. NDL as well, heading up in towards Monte Nuevo. Do you know what surprises me is every time we see NDL, I feel like they just teleport into a completely other part of map that they just shouldn't be able to get. I mean, how do NDL rotate from the edge just below the V of Monte Nuevo down below the teams entering into that location?
I think they just want to hold a part of ground with some relative high ground, right? To scout further, you know, catch some teams on rotation because they have sight lines onto the next spot within the circle that they want to play. And they will edge if they need to. And that's how they got those games with maybe sometimes, you know, 1 placement point, but 8 and 9 kill points. And they're not afraid to play that style, even though they may lose 1 or 2 players. They're confident in the individual abilities, and they have done the math, you know, maybe just better than our quick maths. Like, even if we do it slow, we can't outbeat them. Like, that is the experience coming through from the squad. They have some flexibility in the style, and it's been working out pretty well as they try to take down our choice for the winner of this game.
Yeah, Wizard NDL. That is exactly what they are. And just in the words of Hagrid, oh my days, are they now going to find those kills straight on into triple? I mean, Tarzan, you were right in game number 1. In game number 2, it doesn't look quite the same. I mean, now also a third squad. A rogue Xena Tactics Vacuum just burned in under the shed at a stand. They're just rolling over everyone they see.
I think that's the start, right? Like, when there's a tendency of people rushing and say we have to leave this now, they slowly control every bit of ground on the outskirts and then just needing to focus towards the center zone. That is the strength of the edge style. Of course, you need that transition into some power position in later phases, but they just know how to pace this so well, and the discipline is not there. The Junior will very likely be giving another kill over to this NDL squad, and that will be the case. We're down to 14 squads, and NDL's been sweeping the southern edge.
This is what they do, this NDL style. And I have no idea how time and time again they're able to make it work. No matter who they face, Tarzan, it just feels like they find the kills early on that sets them up for these victories.
I don't know what to say. I think the confidence is actually very consistent. And yes, they have maybe one really bad game yesterday, but that's on Sandhawk. You can afford to screw up Sandhawk. I don't want to say that, but based on how they play the other maps, they're definitely doing so well. Currently, just right up there. And
There we go!
you know what? That's actually my least favorite thing to happen on Miramar. You go over such, like, something that appears flat, and you just got stuck. And you think about all the physics that you wish you've learned, and you know that wouldn't even save you in this game.
If that isn't teamwork in PubG Mobile, I do not know what is, Tarzan. I mean, example team, their consistency as a squad, that is proven in just one scene right there.
You know what? It's a tricky, very tricky shift, though. I really want to focus on this. We've got a lot of these power position and the extension, namely the south, the San Martin Plateau, still in play, but this site is going to be so interesting. A lot of teams come in here thinking they can come in, hold, stay, and strike, but they now need to move. So what's the plan here? Have they got the cars protected? Have they kept a good split to get the info? And that would be Dragon moving. Fish may be able to strike for Team Oma.
That nade, that was so close. But Ilma, the fact that he gave that position away, Dragon was like, oh, it's time to move. There's someone straight behind us, and they did just that. They waddled their way out of there quickly and efficiently. Oma's still going to find a one. I do believe that was onto Excuse Me. is yes, it was. JZ will strike the first kill for them, and I think that this rotation very intriguing to the fact that it has gone up towards half the end of the pass on. I feel that now if the decision comes, is do you enter half the end of the pass on? Do you focus more on those 5 stacks and try to focus on those 4 walls of cover? Or do you still hang about the edge of that zone and try to play for that high ground?
It's just really tricky. I think you just need to play by what's in front of you. There's no predictions that can be made. All you can do is to enter at the right time to get the maximum amount of info, quick comms, and then just stick to it, right? And unfortunately, it's triples down to 2 players, and they've got so much distance to travel as well. And the ground within the circle on that northwestern edge is not easy to play at all. So I don't think it's going to go well for them. Boys, I hope we are wrong when it comes to this, because that we want some points, but it's just so hard to come into that edge and survive. But you know what? Do it by all means.
Oh man, I mean, the fact here, NDL already, we skip back to him, they found another 2 kills, so just continuing what feels like an absolute spree once more in the second game. I like, though, the excuse me, a slightly broken excuse me, keep in mind they have lost one of their players, didn't make that rotation through to the 5 stacks. I think it's very hard to hold, always being in that disadvantage in as that hillside does get taken out. NDL, focus, does find one. Can they find a second? No, they cannot. But here comes the support, and Triple Naz may have just found himself in an undesirable situation, finds 2, but the zone with the help of Jody cleans it all on through. And Jody now able to help through their team. But phase 4 is in effect. So actually here with Dragon behind, Dragon could come up huge when it comes to that upset.
I feel like he really needs to know his limits though, especially when he can slowly trail them in and still get a chance to live. Like against this really strong squad, he really needs to know how to strike it, and he's got a pretty low amount of meds as well. He really needs to ration it, and I don't think it's going to be easy. Striking might be the best plan, and taking that car would be the best actually.
Oh, it goes all the way away from happy end of the pass on. No, into the ridge lines, and he gets it. That was beautiful from Dragon, and he stopped the killing spree as we mentioned. Dragon gonna pick up the vehicle. Maybe not just, we'll take the loot for now and then pick up the vehicle and rotate through the rest of their team. Solos out for 3 players there for NDL, and the rest going to meet up towards the northern side. Keep in mind, the other 2 members of Fear, they were already establishing that point inside the next shift. So for them, they've got a really good opportunity here to solidify their overall, not only position, but grab themselves a few of those kills with late rotation teams entering in onto that position too.
I think it's just extremely tricky. Like this circle, I can't imagine being one of these players, but you know what? It's important to react, and then with your reflex, Conqueror UK will be able to salvage that situation. They found themselves a pocket, and Team Savage actually found one of the best spots.
Team Savage, they do potentially here get themselves called out here, as it will be TSC Ultimate. In on the backside, still also their Conqueror inside the middle. An interesting position though from TSC. 3-1 split, they're covering that backside, but they're still going in for the push. But as that solo player, Broughty up front.
And it's just so many dips that they need to play. Like, you need to know the map, you need to know how to claim it right now. It's so many neutral fights, and I think it's to scout wherever you can to predict the next shift, and upon that shift, go for it immediately. This would be the focus if I were any of these teams, but of course, clearing what's around you and behind you will be so key. Conqueror and TSC both got some great momentum. This will be a bit of a battle of the center zone.
On the bottom side of your screen, Zoe as well, most wanted, taken through TRG. Evil completely exploded out into oblivion by their Hardman. Hardman will take them through and confirm the extra kill. Conqueror still on the edge of the ridgeline though, and TSC still struggling to really realize how they'll get over that ridgeline. Grenade's just not quite hitting.
You know, I also want to bring our attention over to Fiat Esports. They're actually a very decent team, but haven't found the momentum at all. But to have that sort of third party to get those skills upon NDL, it could be huge. I know some of these players, when they are hyped at the right level, they can do amazing things. They've got a good split. They've got, have it well thought out, dips to play off. I think this could be huge game for them. I don't want to jinx them because this zone, after all, this shift in this game, man, so brutal sometimes. So we are going to pray for them. They need to pray for themselves, but most importantly, get the prep work going.
Hard shift, hard shift, hard shift. Where's it gonna go? Tarzan, we all begged for it last time. It happens once more, but in onto everyone here on the hillside to the edge of Happy and of Patron. And now TSC Ultimate, they're still in the control of this zone, but against OMA's will. Here is a Wilby Jay-Z and also Whiplash trying to strike over those knocks, but they still again can't find it in the story of missed explosives is going to be the case. Example, Naka as well going to fall down the kill feed to Team Savage.
I feel like just 1 out of 3 teams on the northeastern side will survive. So Strangers, BD, Cyrex, and Most Wanted would go for the same dip. Otherwise, that plateau is extremely punishing. Team Savage, though, has the best spot, but they may be breached from multiple sides. So this type of position needs a lot of reset up to hold it down. But this one here, with the new challenger coming in, TSC needs to hold out the side of Teemo.
But TSC, they still got Conqueror behind them. They didn't execute down the initial fights. They're in the midst of 2 different fights. You can see it, Conqueror, they're still looking to push up potentially over at Ridgeline, but they too, in their own world of pain, against Team Savage, as you mentioned, such a strong position. Unfortunately, they're also from Fear. They just can't hold what is still a strong Most Wanted, entering the way slowly into zone as Aura, also down 1, does strike back onto 1, but it now be a second as Jay-Z steps up when it counts, smacks through the lighter grey color. It is a monochrome screen through from TSC as all they're seeing is grey. Back inside the lobby, Fear now also closing in, but they too, a squad of strangers behind.
You know what? And that is the opening knock that Most Wanted need to come on in, and that will still be a cluster fight that's going to be changing anytime because the player's still trying to edge in, but Lau trying to relieve the pressure. Shotsy still needs to be picked up, but the smoke is there. It's going to be a bit of a reset. The blue zone slowly coming in will force a maneuver coming in from these teams.
It is still Fear. They are holding on. Still Most Wanted. They aren't in the zone. That zone continues to push in. IND now going to fall in 10th position. It couldn't handle the heat here in the desert. Most Wanted. They're finding the rotations across. So they find a beautiful grenade onto Stranger's Golden Boy at the backside. They're opening up the position. 12 up the top. But they're waiting. They're waiting, and they have to hold in. The patience through from 12, but a movement executing down through the support of Bilal. Bilal on the backside gets taken straight on back by Hardman, no, but he's the only one left.
Good play by Most Wanted. Skirmish play. I mean, 12 did so much work. Only if he waited just that little bit longer. But that was the trade coming through quick and nice. And they will now be tested once again and actually go towards Conquer UK and Team Savage. Will this be the play that they need? But Albert won't be so great at surviving this time. Excuse me, down to Prada as a solo.
You bet your hat, he is proud Cyrex to take down what was the sneakiest member of Excuse Me. I feel like Prada, yes, they're putting the smokes down, but again, the problem is, right, that by putting the smokes down, you're making it even harder for your rotation to actually see where Scythe is. And I feel that those smokes would have been better just to rotate back as a whole against that ridge line, especially considering the Strangers also up above now. The Strangers, they struggling to get involved. Now knocked again by Team Savage. Finally confirmed through, and it's down to only 2 for them.
Oh god, the Prada need to get in zone, decide to open fire, living with a slip of health. That is Team Savage needing to hold that one down. And actually 2 of them not. This is going to be crazy. Most Wanted sending it as well. It's going to be a cluster fight.
It is a cluster fight. Most Wanted, they do successfully find Hardman in. They evade the shots of Conqueror for now, but as completely taken by Strangers.
You know what? A bit of fall damage as well. Unlucky right there, but this is just crazy. So all those early game ability to keep everyone alive was extremely important. And Strangers actually made it in there, and they are proving us wrong. Where have you been all this time for the past, 6 games? This is about time for them to wake up. This is a good game so far. They've got a good number of players. They control one segment. They can come in and maybe cause some severe change to this leaderboard.
Still.
Jerry Gaming. Hello, bro.
Hi.
Munib ready kar, Munib bhai. Munib ready kar. Oh, Munib. Hello. Munib ready kar, yaar. Hello. Hello. खो दो भाई मुनीब है ओए मुनीब गप्पी ओए रेडी कर जट साहब रेडी करो गप्पी रेडी कर ला हाँ हुन जैरी तू रेडी कर यार भाई रेडी करो जेरी गेमिंग रेडी कर ला
تعالوا تعالوا تعالوا